Good morning, dear students. Once again, we are all set for our English literature class, and we will take up once again the Tempest. We had left off at the end of page 100, so today we will take up from page 101, and we will be doing the next two pages, that is page 101 and 102. So please open your textbooks, and the text of these two pages will also be on your screen, so you can easily follow. Listen to the explanation and understand. If you have any problem, you can always play it again and listen. Any human quality, he is by birth devilish in nature. And this is actually Prospero's soliloquy when Ariel has gone to fetch Caliban. Prospero is talking to himself and he is saying these words. Now let us take up what he says after that. Now on your screen from page 101 you can see, nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. What he means to say is that he is so wicked by nature, meaning Caliban, that he is not capable of making any profit from any kind of training which is given to him. And Prospero says that all the trouble, all the pains that I have taken to train him have actually gone in vain, that they have not been useful at all. He is by birth a devil, so no amount of goodness which I have tried to give him through my teachings. Remember that Caliban was only 12 years old when Prospero arrived at the island, and he found Caliban and he started taking care of Caliban just as he would take care of his own daughter Miranda. And his intention was to train Caliban in such a way that Caliban should become like his own son. He did not have a son. So his kindness, his generosity, all these things he had hoped that would pay off and Caliban would become something good. But then Caliban proved to be otherwise. In fact, when Miranda was growing up, Caliban tried to outrage the modesty of Miranda. And this made Prospero so angry that he stopped Caliban from all his activities and imprisoned him, kept him in an enclosure. We have already discussed all that in our classes which we had in class 11. Now he is again remarking about the negativities of Caliban in this scene. And then he says, and as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. So meaning to say that as he grows older, age-wise, as he is growing, his not only his physical appearance, but also his mind is becoming more and more poisonous. His physical appearance is looking uglier, and mentally he has become so poisonous, he has become so ugly that it is cankering. His mind is cankering. Canker is a kind of worm which starts affecting a plant and causes it to rot from inside, generally in case of fruiting plants. So here Prospero uses that example to describe Caliban's mind. I will plague them all, even to roaring. Meaning to say that I will punish all of them. Who are these all of them? Of course, Caliban in the lead. Along with him, he has Stefano and Trinculo, who are associates of Caliban, and together these three want to kill Prospero. So Prospero is planning to punish them. So much so that they will roar in pain. They will be punished by Prospero in such a way that they will roar in pain. So this soliloquy of Prospero gets over when Ariel enters the scene again, and this time Ariel is loaded with glistening apparel, shiny garments, clothing, clothes which he has brought out from inside of Prospero's cell. These clothes are going to be hung on the clothesline outside Prospero's cell. Now we already knew that Ariel has caused Caliban and his companions Stefano and Trinculo to fall into a filthy, murky pool of rotting water, and so their clothes are drenched and they are smelling foul. So now these people, when they come out of the water, they will definitely try to look for clothes so that they can change, and these shiny garments will then be visible to them hanging outside Prospero's cell. So these clothes or apparel are going to be used as you can say kind of bait or decoy or a kind of a trap for these three, and they will be falling for them instead of thinking about killing Prospero, particularly Stefano and Trinculo, and that's exactly what happens after this. So let's see. Prospero says to Ariel, come, hang them on this line. Come now, hang these clothes out on this clothesline. Prospero and Ariel remain invisible. Enter Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo, all wet. Now we know that they are totally drenched in filthy water. They have just come out of the pond and now they have come near Prospero's cell. Now Caliban is leading the group, and Caliban's intention is not to change his clothes. Caliban wants that somehow, as soon as possible, Prospero should be killed. But Stefano and Trinculo will be distracted when they see these clothes. Caliban says, pray you, tread softly that the blind mole may not hear a footfall. He is telling the other two, walk softly so that even the blind mole, it is believed that the mole, which is a rat-like creature, generally comes out at night. I am sure all of you know what a mole is or what it looks like, and it makes a squeaking noise. And it is believed that the mole cannot actually see, though it has eyes, but the eyes are covered with a membrane because of which it cannot see. And the mole basically makes use of its other senses, particularly its sense of smell, to find its way around. And that's why there is a common saying in English, as blind as a mole. So here that reference is being used by Caliban. He says, pray you, request you, I request all of you, walk softly so that even the blind mole may not be able to hear a footfall. Now, when your eyes are not functional, the other sense organs become more alert and active. So the blind mole generally makes use of its sense of smell and the sense of hearing. We all know that animals have a better sense of hearing than human beings. And so he says this, that even the blind mole should not be able to hear a single footstep. But then in a way, Caliban is also abusing Prospero's name by referring to him as the blind mole. That means Caliban is using foul language to describe Prospero. So here two things are being served at the same time. One is walk softly so that even the blind mole, which has a great sense of hearing, should not be able to hear even a single footstep. And the other meaning is walk softly so that that blind mole, meaning Prospero, he's calling him names, should not be able to hear your footsteps. So we now are near his cell. We have now come very close to his dwelling, to his cell. Cell here refers to Prospero's hut, the small humble dwelling. You can see the explanation side by side. Always go through the explanations when you are reading the lines so that everything becomes very clear to you. And as I said in the beginning of the video, whenever you are not sure about a particular line, the benefit of such videos is that you can play it again and listen to my explanation so that it becomes clear to you. Now, when this is said by Caliban, let's see what Stephano has to say. Stephano says, "Monster, your fairy, which you say is a harmless fairy, has done little better than played the jack with us." Monster, that fairy of yours, that spirit about whom you spoke earlier, he is referring to Ariel. He doesn't know his name is Ariel, but Caliban had been assuring them that the spirit only plays music and does not really do much harm. So now he is referring to Ariel and he's saying that fairy of yours, that spirit of yours, which you described as harmless, well, it has done little better than played the jack with us. Meaning to say, it has behaved like a scoundrel. Rogue means scoundrel. It has behaved roguishly with us. So, it did not really behave the way you said it would. You said it is harmless, but this spirit has not behaved well with us. He has played knavish tricks on us. So then he says, "Do you hear, monster? Do you hear me? What I am saying to you? If I should take a displeasure against you, look you. Now, if I start disliking you because you said it is a harmless fairy, but it has misbehaved with us, it has behaved like a scoundrel with us, now for that I should be annoyed. I should be very angry at you in particular because you said it is harmless, but it was not harmless. Look what it has done to us." So he is about to continue with this angry expletive when Trinculo cuts him short and says, "Thou wert but a lost monster." He completes the accusation of Stephano that you were as good as a ruined monster. So, you are as good as done for. Caliban says, "Good, my lord, give me thy favor still. Be patient, for the prize I'll bring thee to shall hoodwink this mischance." My good lords, please give me your favors. Don't misunderstand me, because the mission on which we are now, that mission, the outcome of that mission is going to bring you a lot of happiness. So don't be angry and stick to what we have decided to do. Be patient, for the prize, that is the outcome, the result, is surely going to be something very good for all of us. So, the prize I'll bring thee to shall hoodwink this mischance. Meaning to say that the prize that I shall secure for you shall make you forget this small incident which happened with us. Which incident? The incident of having been driven through thorny bushes and then having been driven into a pool of dirty water and getting soaked in it and coming out of it with smelly clothing. So this incident, you will forget this incident. This is just a small incident. And you are going to forget it once you see the result of this outcome, or rather this exploit which we have undertaken, this plan which we are about to execute. Therefore, speak softly. Therefore, don't shout angrily at me. This is not the right time to fight. Please keep your voice down. All's hushed as midnight yet. Everything should be silent, just as it is during midnight. All seems to be silent here, at least, just like midnight. Actually, it is silent because Ariel, who is already invisible, and Prospero, when he puts on his magic robe, he also can use his magical powers to become invisible. And we know that these two are watching these three characters, and there is complete silence all around, and that's why the silence is being compared to the silence experienced at midnight. Now Trinculo says, but to lose our bottles in the pool. Yes, that's all right, but then It is so odd, so sad. We cannot forget that we have lost our bottles in that pool. In that pool of water, murky water, we have lost our drink bottle. So that is something which is paining him. Stefano and Trinculo had been drinking, and now the bottle is lost. So he is upset because he has lost his bottle of wine. Stefano says, there is not only disgrace and dishonor in that monster, but an infinite loss. Now, in losing the bottle, there was not only disgrace upon us, but also it was a matter of great dishonor for us. So, it was a matter of great humiliation, and so it was an irreparable loss. The loss of the bottle is something which cannot be repaired or made good. So with this we come to the end of page 101 and we move on with page 102. So on your screen now, page 102, and let's see what Trinculo adds to what has been said by Stefano. Trinculo says, that's more to me than my wetting. Yet this is your harmless fairy monster. Yes, I consider that to be a greater dishonor and a greater loss for me than getting drenched in the murky, dirty water. I didn't mind, in other words, what he means to say is that I didn't mind it so much that I fell into that pond of dirty water, but I mind it very much and consider it to be a greater loss that I have lost that bottle. Yet you call it harmless fairy. It's all because of that harmless, the so-called harmless fairy of yours, that we have undergone such a great loss. Imagine, these people are so drunk. They are the true examples of drunkards, that they are so upset. Nothing is more upsetting for them than having lost their wine bottle. Stefano says, I will fetch off my bottle, though I be over years for my labor. I will go back to that pond and I will dive into it and I will search for my bottle inside the water. Even if the water goes over my ears, even if I have to dive deep, I have to go underwater, still I will search for it and I'll find it and bring it. Do you think a bottle of wine which has fallen into that dirty water will still have wine in it? Definitely not. It must have been already filled up with that dirty water. The wine must have all flown out of the bottle. But still this guy, actually he's drunk. And so he's saying this, that I want to go back, I want to dive into that water and I want to fetch my bottle. Caliban says, now Caliban is alarmed. If he goes now, then his plan cannot be executed. He requires the help of Stefano and Trinculo, because if Stefano goes, Trinculo will also follow. And then what will happen to the plan of killing Prospero? So Caliban says, Prithee, I request you, I pray to you, my king, be quiet. Stefano, already we know that Caliban has started referring to him as his king, and so he says, I request you, my king, please be quiet. Seest thou here? Do you see something here? Look at this. He is trying to divert his attention towards something. This is the mouth or the cell. This is the entrance or the doorway which leads to the hut. No noise and enter. Don't make any noise, just enter. Let's move inside quietly without making any noise through this door. Do that good mischief which may make this island thine own forever. Please, let's go inside and then do that mischief which we have planned. What is the mischief? Murdering Prospero. Please do that mischief so that this island becomes yours forever. And I, thy Caliban, for aye thy foot liquor. And I, after that, will be your Caliban, only your Caliban, your slave. I will be licking your foot as a slave should. So I am going to be your slave, your servant. All you need to do now is just go inside through that door. This is the entrance of the cell. Please just go inside and commit the deed which we have planned, that is murder Prospero. We all know that the plan was that in the afternoon when Prospero sleeps, because that was his habit, Caliban had planned this with Stefano and Trinculo, that they will go quietly, sneak up to him inside his cell and murder him, hammer him on the head and kill him while he is asleep. So let's do it, he says. Stefano says, give me thy hand. I do begin to have bloody thoughts. All right, fine, give me your hand. Stefano is diverted from his thoughts about his liquor bottle. Instead, he is now talking about having bloody thoughts. He says, give me your hand. Let's shake hands. Yes, we are into it together. Come on, now I have started having bloody thoughts. Meaning to say, bloodthirsty or ferocious thoughts. I will do the deed. Trinculo says, O King Stefano, O peer, O worthy Stefano. Trinculo is also praising Stefano. Actually, they are all drunk. And it's impossible for such drunkards who are totally drunk to do anything to Prospero, who is so powerful. And Prospero, in the meantime, is watching them. Don't think he's amused. He is growing angrier by degrees to see them talk like this, to hear them plan like this. O King Stefano, O peer, O worthy Stefano. So, O King Stefano, you are the Lord. You are noble Stefano. And then, look what a wardrobe here is for thee. Suddenly, Trinculo's eyes fall on the clothesline. Shiny, attractive garments are hanging there. Clothes are hanging there. And he says, look, my king, what wonderful designer garments, shiny garments, attractive garments are hanging here for you. All for you. And now the damage is done, because even Stefano looks at the garments and then they decide, because you see, people who are drunk, when they think about certain things, they just keep on thinking about that thing and cannot think of anything else. Their point is stuck and then they will not listen to anything. So if Trinculo has pointed at the garments and Stefano's eyes fall on them, they forget about the plan to kill Prospero. Actually, they don't have a motive to kill Prospero. They have no reason to kill Prospero. It was Caliban who was trying to put this idea into their minds, particularly the mind of Stefano, that you will become king and Prospero has a beautiful daughter, you will marry her, she will be the queen, and this island will be your kingdom and I will be your slave forever. So he was, imagining such things because of Caliban's words. But now, let's see what happens. The moment Trinculo says this, Caliban tries to stop Trinculo, because he does not want that the mindset of Stefano and Trinculo should change. So Caliban says, let it alone. Thou fool, it is but trash. It is nothing. It is but rubbish. Don't look at it. Don't have to look at the clothes now. Forget it. Let's get inside and let's do what we have come to do. Trinculo says, O ho monster, we know what belongs to a frippery, O King Stefano. Oh ho monster, you don't have to teach us that it is rubbish. Of course it's not rubbish. We know what is rubbish. Rubbish can be considered to be those clothes which are sold in old clothes stores or shops, where poor people go and buy second-hand old clothes. This is not rubbish. It looks so attractive. So we know what is what. You don't have to explain it to us. Oh, King Stefano. In the meantime, Stefano has also seen, and the two of them now get busy looking at the clothes, touching them, pulling them off the clothesline, trying them on. They are doing it. Put off that gown, Trinculo. By this hand, I'll have that gown. As soon as Trinculo tries to touch something which is the most attractive among the clothes which are hanging outside, Stefano threatens him, says that by this hand of mine, I'm going to punish you. Put that piece of clothing down. That's mine. I'm going to take it. Trinculo, thy grace shall have it. Yes, your honor, since you wish for it, definitely you should have it. Caliban, the dropsy drowned this fool. What do you mean? Caliban is so upset. Let the dropsy is a disease which causes swelling of soft tissues of the body. Let the disease dropsy affect this fellow. Whom does he mean? Of course, Trinculo, because it was Trinculo who started it all. Let him be affected by dropsy. What do you mean? What do you mean by going towards those clothes and not thinking about what we have come to do? So, Caliban is totally frustrated, but nobody is listening to him. So with that, we come to the end of page 102, and we have 2 more pages to go after this, and the scene will come to an end.